I want to explain to you the difference between the 2018 Thai cave rescue of that youth soccer club and what we're seeing right now in Laos. Similar circumstances, right? People in a cave, flooded, monsoon rains, they're stuck and they can't get out, and they're found miraculously alive. But there's some big differences. That cave in Thailand, that was miles long, like 7 miles long. Ultimately, the boys were found about 2 to 3 miles in. The chambers were enormous, big enough to fit a 747. So have the concept of a 747 in your mind. Then think about this other cave in the remote jungles of Laos. The spaces there are literally the size of a car tire, and they're entombed, the rescuers are, in this jagged rock. It's pitch black. It was also in the cave in Thailand. But the spaces are so tiny, they have to drag their scuba tanks behind them and literally shimmy into these tiny cracks. And this poses a major problem. Because remember, in Thailand in 2018, how did they get everybody out? They drugged them and dragged them. They had 12 young boys up to the age of 16, very small, and they had their coach who was in his 20s. Basically, they gave him ketamine, another sedative, and then they dragged them out of the cave while they were sleeping with these scuba masks on top. That's because the chambers were big enough to carry them through on these stretchers. In Laos, the chambers are tiny. You see them perched on that ledge. There is really no room to work. If the miners who are in there, the 5 who have been found alive, don't know how to scuba dive, and it would be very dangerous to teach them and then have them go through those murky passages because they can panic, they can freak out, they can grab at the mask of the rescue diver. Very dangerous, so likely not to be attempted. So they can't drug them and drag them out. They're likely not going to swim them out. What is the other alternative? Well, the lead rescue diver, Miko Passy, told me that right now they're going to try to bring them food and water to sustain them while they pump water out of the cave. The idea is they can get all that water out of the cave. The miners, if they're strong enough, can just walk and crawl out the way they came in. But a lot depends on the ability of those pumps to get that water out effectively, and the rain and the monsoons holding off long enough to allow them to do that. So there is really, to use a cliche, a race against the clock right now. And from what I understand, the rescuers aren't exactly sure what their final plan is going to be.